Welcome. So nice to see you. It is Wednesday, the 13th of December. Hi, Natasha. Don't feel you need to
Hello.
or go on video. You're all good. All good in the hood. We don't have to do those things because it's super early, I know. And it's Christmas and everything is going completely wild if you have children.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's fun times. So today is going to be our last one before Christmas. So I've made the executive decision that we're not meeting on the 20th. So I'm going to allow more space and time for family and fun and festivities. So we're not going to meet next Wednesday. However, I might be recording a little something for you to watch over the holidays instead. So I will be sending something on the platform and sending it to your emails as well as a recording that you can just watch and enjoy at your leisure. So with that being said, let's start with what's been going great. What tell me the things that have happened this week. Tell me anything of note that you want to share and be seen and celebrate with us all. That would be really fun to start with. I'm happy to start if you guys want a couple of minutes to kind of think and share. But feel free to
Yeah,
unmute.
well, why don't you start and tell us about your Monday? Because I saw the post you put up, and it looked like you have a damn good time on Monday.
That's a really good prompt. So thank you, Scott, keeping me to sharing stuff. I appreciate you. So
Hmm.
Monday, I was invited to join a big event for women entrepreneurs. So it was a kind of an intimate, I want to say about 50 to 60 ladies, which was really nice. And it was an all-day planning strategy session. So the kind of first part of the morning was to sit down and go through your business goals, your big dreams, how to get shit done essentially, which I love because that's my complete jam. Is like, let's dream about it, but then let's also get shit done. And then the second half of the day was open for speakers and panelists and Q&A and collaborative sharing. And I feel that women have these spaces because I'm part of them. I'm in a lot of these spaces, and it was amazing the kind of collective. I don't know what happens when you get people in a room like this, but something very magical happens if they're all like aligned with the same philosophy and the same values, and everyone agrees on the same general things being important. Something very magical happens. So that was super fun. Met some very cool people and took away some very interesting like thought starters and insights that I'm happy to share with you guys, of course. And it just also made me think, why aren't we doing this for more people? All of the people. And so lots of people were asking me, do you just help women? And I was like, I used to just help women. Then I thought, that's not very inclusive. Because people would ask me all the time, do you help men? I'd be like, well, I haven't, but I can. So there was never like a good enough reason, if that makes sense. There used to be, but there kind of wasn't then. So yeah, that was an interesting thought that kind of occurred to me because I agree. Women need a little more support and a little more mindset work around self-worth and value sometimes because they're not taught. We are, women are not taught how to claim money and say things about money. It's just not the narrative generally. So there is a disadvantage there. But I think that it's the same across genders. I genuinely do. I think men have this also, but it's just less prevalent. There's more men, and forgive me for generalizing, but it seems to be there are more men who are just more simpler in their minds about making money. They don't have the garbage that's thrown up that women have, in my general experience, about making money and asking for money. So that's really interesting. But I would be very interested to hear your
I'll
specific
yeah,
like insights on that.
I'll other Tim, Pete. I'd love you guys to jump in with your own opinion. I've got my focus group of one, which is me on this, right? Here's the truth in my humble opinion, right? Guys, keep it simple in your mind because they don't know how to make it complex. And the basis behind that is that there was a study that was done that indicated 1 in 6 adult men indicate they have no true friends. 1 in 6. And the rationale behind that, according to the study, is that men get so singularly focused on their simplicity of be the breadwinner, provide for the family, et cetera, right? That they don't make it a point to make deep, meaningful connections to support them in times of emotional need versus women, which the study paraphrase, women do that a lot earlier. And so by the time that you get to your adulthood, they're a lot more versed in having that support, right? So I don't necessarily think that it is a point of women need it more. I think both groups need it the same for different reasons, but women get there faster. Men play catch up. That's my take.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. I think that's really interesting because we're all the same, aren't we? Essentially,
Mhm.
we're all the same. I mean, this is what I'm learning more and more. All the humans, we're generally all the same. We all think we're super weird. We're not.
Mhm.
Everyone feels they're super weird. I mean, maybe it's just me.
Mhm.
But we all think we all have the same general things happening. But I think you're right. It's the emotional, I don't know, it's the emotional literacy that women just naturally lean towards younger that boys don't. I don't know. Not being taught how to. I think that's the thing too.
I think it also depends on which culture you come from, because I'm quite surprised where I live in Colombia, the Latin American culture for men is very different from a European or perhaps a Northern American culture. So I think, there's so many different components that go into play that it becomes even bigger than just male and female. There's so much. If it was that easy to kind of define, then we'd have all defined it a long time ago, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? I think these things are so, finally, they're really complex.
Yeah.
And you have to take a lot of different things into consideration.
Very, very true, Natasha. And in some places, those cultural norms are being challenged and changed. Well, particularly in Asia, where it has been traditionally a very male-oriented orientation, that is rapidly changing.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
are we going to smash the patriarchy today, or should we do it over Christmas? Just
over
collectively.
Christmas with a
Or
glass
like
with a
Right.
glass of wine.
By the way, this just in, Mrs. Claus is doing the sleigh work this Christmas. So
Miss Claus is tired as hell. She needs a whiskey. I spoke to her yesterday. Oh, so funny. I think this is such a good, and it's just so true because, like, I don't know, there's a whole world of things, like barely scratching the surface of all of this, but it's so interesting, like bringing it back to the business stuff. Um, the more you have a network who truly sees you and supports you and holds you up and holds space for you, I think that's really important. Hold space for your big dreams, whatever they are, whether it's, I would like to pick my child up every single day and take them to school every single day. That can be a big dream and not feel stressed and not feel like I'm running around. Or it could be, my big dream is I want to create an academy that's worth 50 million USD by whatever date, that's going to help people do, I don't know, anything that they want to do. So it doesn't matter the size or the grandeur. I think we get kind of told what to dream by people. Oh, you're not dreaming big enough. It's like, really? Give a shit.
By the way,
Without
stick with
general
pound.
sense.
Stick with British pounds. They're more valuable.
Stick with us. But if in entrepreneurship, if you don't have that kind of a space, it's very, very hard in my experience, because I didn't have a space like that until probably about a year and a half ago. And I couldn't find my space because everywhere I was going, I was either too big or too small, or I didn't like what they were doing, or they didn't like what I was doing. So I was just like, oh, I'll just be on my own then. Doesn't work. It doesn't work, because you need someone to help support you, a group, not one person, like a group, a gang, a tribe of people who will support and hold up and could really look after your things that you have said and declared that are important to you. Doesn't matter who those people are. It can be peer friends, it can be business peers, it can be anyone. But human, like we all need that.
And I'd love the group to opine on this, because I want to learn from you all in terms of, how do you all manage December? Because between closing out your business for the year, getting the framework laid out for the start of the new year, the silliness, which is the holiday season and everybody running around like a chicken with their head cut off, right? And then in my particular case, December tends to be a tough month for me emotionally, because it's the anniversary of my hospitalization. So that's always in the back of my head in terms of, here we come up on the seminal moment of my life, right? So I'm curious how you all manage yourselves during the month of December when things are cray.
The question is, who's got kids? Scott, Meg,
I do. Yep.
Natasha,
Yep.
and Pete. You all got kids. Okay. So my answer is quite different from yours, because my son left home 10 years ago. So he doesn't count anymore. How do I manage? I live in a holiday beachside town. So we go out at sunrise, go to the shops before anybody else, and are home and done by 9 a.m. in the morning, because I'm not interested in the chaos of what's going on in the world and Christmas carols around the store. It's and effectively then, apart from Christmas Day with the family, we hibernate. Yeah, so avoid the chaos. The chaos is what everybody else can deal with. Not interested in it. It's peace and quiet, self-respect, introspective analysis, bit of analysis on what's happened in the year, where I'm going next year, what I want to do, what we want to do, goals and dreams, that type of thing. And it, in fact, being in the game and the stage of the game I am in, I'm working through. There is no timeout. Yes, I'll relax more than I would ordinarily do. Yes. But otherwise, no, there's no timeout. It's balls to the wall, time to run, to hit 24 off, already moving. I'm not going to start on the 1st of January. Yeah. So, but I've got a different game I'm playing, because I don't have miniature folk running around causing chaos. Been there, done that, lost the hair, got the grey beard.
Hey, at least you did that after the kids left the house. My kids are still in the house for many years, and I've got all of that going on. So good on you, man.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tim. Pete, what's your survival SOS December mode?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, actually. I mean, for me, well, full disclaimer, my kind of kid has grown up and left home now, so I ain't got kids actively in the home anymore. So even though she will be here at Christmas, it's more visiting rather than living here as such. But yeah, I mean, for me, there's a couple of things really. I mean, I'm doing the typical out of office reply. I'll reply to your email as soon as I pick it up, but it'll be on reduced hours, etc. Doing all of that, blocking out my Calendly links and stuff like that. but then like I'm also like part of like an accountability group where we all kind of support each other. So like business side of things, that's really good. I mean, quite a few of the people in there are in the US, so it's always on like US time, which makes it like a late night for me once a week. But you know, there's people in there who are like six-figure agencies and all that jazz, down to smaller people, but there's no one's judged. Everyone just supports each other. I might have a bit of knowledge that helps them. They have advice that helps me. So it's a real mutual kind of thing. And very shortly we'll be setting goals, obviously, for next year. We like Q1, Q2, etc. And not just setting the goals, but how we're going to achieve those goals. So kind of like now onwards, I'm going to be planning that out for next year as such. But during the actual Christmas period, we're doing all the typical traditional Christmas dinner, Boxing Day, etc., and all that with family. But for me, I always find there's that lull after Boxing Day, before the new year, and he's trying to switch my brain up. So I'm like, oh, could do this, could do that.
Yeah.
Let's get on PC and work on this.
Yeah.
And I found last year, I was chatting with someone on LinkedIn, don't know him, but connected with him. Now, like, and we're chatting away just about, yeah, well, where is everyone? What's happening? Yeah, want to get going, business, boom, new year coming. So it were like, we were literally like two people on this one on LinkedIn chatting. So, you know, yeah, it was like, I think for me though, business wise, there's a lull now always. People are obviously busy tying up the businesses or planning or whatever with Christmas coming up. And it's like come the new year, that's when people be like, oh yeah, I really need to look for a new SEO guy or agency that's going to do X for me this year because I didn't get the results last year, etc. So that's where I'm kind of thinking, you know, this is where I need to kind of position myself, get some ads in place, and start moving forward. Yeah. So yeah, long-winded answer, everyone, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. And I think you're right. So I call it what's the word, like it's almost like the twilight zone from Boxing Day to New Year's. It's when you eat a lot of cheese, you generally don't get out of your pajamas and you don't know what day of the week it is.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. So there's a lot of cheese, there's a lot of eating, there's a lot of biscuits for breakfast, and you're like, sorry, what is it, Wednesday or is it New Year? I'm confused. I like this time of year a lot. But to your point around working on your business within this time of year, this is such a good time for positioning yourself now, selling now. So I did a training about this because people are buying now. I mean, if we're going to live in a crazy consumerist world, you may as well sell when everyone else is selling. People are buying all kinds of stuff now. I promise you, all kinds of stuff. Christmas presents, presents for themselves, going out, spending money on treats and things for their family. It's like Christmas bonanza. So you could choose to think people aren't spending money now, they want to think on January the 1st, or you could choose to think, which I always choose the thought that's most helpful to me in any given time. Whether it's true or not, I don't really care. So I choose to believe, and I know this is true because then I get evidence for it and I stack up the evidence. And I'm like, see, people love to buy in December. People love buying anything in December. People want to start on the 26th of December because they've done the Christmas. They're like, right, let's start. So it's up to you what you choose. I mean, do all the downtime you want for sure. Eat the cheeses, lay down, all the accountability stuff that I'm going to do all of those things too. But also know, and this is for everybody. This is not just for you, Pete. This is for all the people that I speak with who are like, it's crazy time. I'm not going to do an offer now. I'm like, are you crazy? Do the offers now. This is offer season. I promise you. all of the people who are making so much money, 6 figures plus, multiple 6 figures, they are going hard in December. Have you noticed? Are you on email lists for any marketing or coaching or anything that you buy? People are going super hard on the email lists right now for very good reason, because people buy right now. So it's all about the positioning, and it's all about how you sell that in as a Christmas gift, as a buy this, get one for your friend at half price. The offers are abounding. So you can learn a ton from looking on your emails and thinking, what are the offers that sound great that I'm like, ooh, I'm going to click on that? And what are the offers that sound really crap that I don't want to click on? And then take that learning.
Right. It's fascinating you say that, Meg, because and I'm sure we've all been guilty of this, but I'll throw myself under the bus here, right? Where we project our own views on the way everybody else will react. So as an example, my inbox is completely cluttered with offers this, offers that, whatnot, and I can tell you my opinion. Y'all just go away now. Go away, right? Stop cluttering up my inbox, right? So for me, folks are pissing me off, right?
Yeah.
But to your point, I have to be careful not to allow focus group of one, me, be a determinant in terms of how everybody else would react.
Yeah, for sure. You can't. And that's how so when we're buying and selling, you have to remove yourself from your own biases, prejudices, assumptions, and the way you like to buy. Just because Scott is like, all of you can just go sit in the shed now because you're annoying me. I don't want to hear about the 50% mistletoe offer, whatever. People on your list who have signed up to be upon your list, or have signed up, quite literally, they've taken actions with their feet to follow you on LinkedIn or to engage with you wherever you guys are posting the things that you post. They want to hear from you. So I just had a session with a client this week exactly upon this subject. I'm like, we just take it as a given that they love everything that you do and they want to hear from you 1,000 times a day. We assume that that's the thought you have until they prove otherwise by being like, yeah, you're annoying me now, I want to go. And they leave. And that is a good thing. It is not a bad thing. Do you see? So you'll probably make some errors and make some fails along the way by being too much of selling or not enough of selling or just saying weird stuff, and then people leave. That's just a given. But people leaving your world because you're selling too much, it's never a problem. Because you know how many people there are in the world who need your stuff? Millions. Quite literally millions. So you're never going to run out. But it's just worth noting, if the general trend is people are leaving and it's consistent, there's something wrong with your messaging. But that's a technical thing, that's a copywriting thing. It's not your offer thing. Oh, hang on a second. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay. But yes, really good point. Thank you for sharing that, because I think this like speaks to all of our concerns about overselling, like being too salesy, being too like in people's faces. It's not a thing. There's ways of doing it that are pushy. Sorry. I'm in the living room. My husband's opening some post. It's fine. You were good. Just so yeah. Natasha, did you have anything that you wanted to share?
No, not really on this subject. I'm taking time off over Christmas because I love Christmas. So I'm unashamedly doing the family stuff, doing the Christmas carols. I'm the one instigating the Christmas carols and throwing the Christmas parties. So I'll probably be Tim's worst nightmare, but there you go. What was I going to say? But for me, like with my work, because most people are shutting down, I'm just going to kind of focus on 2024 planning, and also uploading lots more artwork onto my website, because it's kind of like solo work that I need to do. It's also work that I feel like I need a little bit of mental space with. So for me, December's a great time to have that mental space to kind of do the art, more the kind of artistic stuff that sometimes with too much noise around me, I find it hard to develop.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds perfect. And it does give you that space. Literally mental space is more, for me, just in my experience, mental space is far more valuable than physical space for business. I mean, you kind of need both, but
Yeah,
especially with kids, especially with like multiple demands on time and multiple demands on your brain, quite literally, multiple demands on your emotional stuff. It's too much actually as parents. So you have to just be very boundaried and strict with yourself. You don't have to be strict with other people. You could just have to be very strict with yourself of what I do and what I don't allow time for and make space for. And just know those things. So something else from the session, and we'll move on into something else in a bit, but I think this is worth sharing a bit more. But something from the session on Tuesday was about, have you noticed when you're very busy, the things you do allow time for and the things you absolutely do not? When you're busy and you're like at capacity, physically or mentally, or just in all ways, it's very interesting to notice what you do let in and what you're like 100% not. That's not happening. I've noticed this so much in the last 2 months. There's stuff I will do, non-negotiable. People I will see, non-negotiable. Activities, habits that are absolutely non-negotiable that I will always make time for. And then there's things that I'm like, not in a million years. And it's so interesting to notice that for yourself and be like, oh, that is interesting. So when I have more capacity, when I'm feeling a bit less busy and a bit more like free and open and I've got more to give, what am I saying yes to that's actually not really helpful? Or who am I saying yes, or what am I agreeing to do that I didn't kind of really want to, but I just did because of whatever reason? It's just a very fascinating question. There's no right or wrong. It's just a very interesting way to think about your own time and energy. Because when you've got loads of capacity mentally and, emotionally, you do lots, you say yes to more things in my experience. But when you don't, it's a very firm line. And if you don't have a very firm line, that's when you get really overtired and feel a bit like cranky. Cranky is the word of, overtired, bit like you need a cup of tea and a biscuit and a lay down for like half a day. That kind of cranky. If anyone else can relate to that as parents, maybe.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Absolutely none.
Teach us, Yoda, then please. Oh dear. But yes, so I want to switch gears a little bit because I have something that I wanted to set up for January, which is going to be super fun. You're all like, oh no, what's this? So I thought it would be really fun to set a revenue challenge for everybody for the month of January. Could be, you can start it whenever you like. You could start it today if you like. You could start it on December the 26th. You could start it whenever you choose. But the general challenge is, I want to say, so tell me, can you just put in the chat or on mute how much money you've made in the last 12 months, if you don't mind sharing openly, in your business, in the main business that you've like signed up for this living room call. You don't have to share if you don't want to. Feel free to just direct message me or unmute, but we should be transparent because there's no blame or shame here, just FYI. So I'm going to
Can I just say not enough? Is that what that?
No, I need a number. Sorry, because that doesn't mean it means different things to different people.
See, I'm setting the bar low for y'all, right? So y'all can come up from there, right?
But is this true, Scott? Is this true actually in the last? Because I thought that this was not true because you had the call.
Yes, but that's not,
someone
I don't consider that revenue because it hasn't been
landed.
actually landed, right? It has been
Fine.
committed to, right?
Okay, good. So that's money in bank.
Yeah, think of it as accounts, think of it as accounts receivable, right? It's an accounts
Okay.
receivable on my books that I expect to collect in January,
Okay, fine.
but I would not consider it revenue.
What's the, so, okay, so let's say January to January, that 12-month period, but receivables 0, expected 3K, 2000, tell me that number.
So receivables are going to be 3K, and then you know, in terms of this particular challenge, new business that I'm not already expecting, you know, probably do another 3K there. So if I get this, if I get the 6 in January, I'd be happy.
Okay, cool. So the reason I'm asking for these figures is I want to make the challenge make sense. I don't want to say 100K in 30 days because I've got a feeling that your brains would be like, what's going on? So I want to make it relatable, but doable, but also enough of a stretch to make you do things that you wouldn't do normally. That makes sense? So we've got 3.5,
Yep.
2,000, 8,000. Hang on a sec. Can we just do, I'm gonna do US dollars for ease. Is that okay? Just so I don't have to do like exchange rates in my brain, because that's not gonna happen. So 8,000. I'm gonna just call that 10K, Pete, if that's okay, dollars. I'm gonna call that 3.5. Okay, great. So we're all around the same mark. So this is really good. Pete, you've had a really good year. Awesome. Congratulations. So I would like, so firstly, so this is the exercise. Number 1, we've already done the goals for the year. So you claimed and stated how much money you would like to have in your business total turnover by the end of next year, correct? So you have a figure already, I hope, in your brain or on a piece of paper somewhere. Remind me that figure. So just put that figure down in the chat too. You don't have to do the conversions to dollars. I'll just do that.
Yeah, it's an exercise I haven't actually done, so I'll have to come back to you.
Okay. So what would be fun now? Just decide now, Tim. We're going to make the decision and just choose it now.
Well, my target for January is 5K. I'm just about to launch a program now.
Okay.
But in the
So
next
what's
week,
your yearly revenue desire? What would make you do a happy dance and jump up and down and clap, or any other alternative of how you celebrate?
Yeah, 100K.
Okay, awesome. 100K.
Dollars.
Nice.
Not rands, because that won't get me around the corner.
That wouldn't get you to the grocery shop. 100,000, 110 minimum. Okay, fine. Okay, well, let's just say 100,000 then. Does that work for everybody? Is that generally? Okay. So I would like to set the revenue goal for January. So this is the reason for doing it. This is the exercise. The exercise, yes, is of course to make money. That's the end goal. That's a tangible goal that you'll receive, is more money into your business. Whatever that number is, that is going to be the end result for sure. We don't know how much that number will be, because that's completely up to every individual doing this challenge. So the tangible result is more money in your business. So just choose a figure that makes you think, if I got that, I would literally be jumping up and down. I'd be calling my mum like I'd won an award. Like I'd be so excited that if I looked at that figure at the end of January, I'd be like, oh my God, you're amazing. I'm freaking awesome.
So if I understood that correctly, pick a number where I would want to go out and do my hair. Got it.
Oh yeah, you'd want to go to the salon and make yourself look Pretty so you could go out and have some beers and celebrate with your
Mhm.
friends. Yes.
Mhm.
2000, amazing. Natasha, I'm gonna push back on it. I'm really sorry. 2000 is not enough. It's not enough for the purposes of this challenge. So I want you to say 20,000.
Okay, Meg, let's go for it. Let's do 20,000. Let's really
Okay.
push. Sorry, my daughter's just woken up. I'm having a bit of
Oh,
a
that's okay.
hectic morning.
That's all right. No worries. So I'm going to say 20,000. So I think we should just say 20,000 for everyone. Yeah. 7.5 is not enough. So 20,000 US dollars in 30 days. That's going to be the goal. So the tangible result is going to be more money in your business. It may be 5,000, it may be 1,000, it may be 12,000, it may be 25,000. We don't know yet. But the reason to set it higher than your expectation and desire and like your thinking brain today is like, that sounds reasonable. 2K sounds reasonable. 5K sounds reasonable, correct?
Mhm.
Because this is the mental model that we use. It's like, well, I've got this, 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 and this. That sounds achievable. Oh no, absolutely bullshit to that. We don't go with that. Reason being, we underestimate the potential of our earning based on what we know now, based on our evidential facts now. Oh, I've made this so much in the past, so this makes sense for the future. No, doesn't make any sense for the future because you're a completely different person who knows completely different things and is doing completely different actions. So whilst it makes sense for big businesses to be like, oh, year on year, I predict a 1.25% increase. We're not those businesses. That's not how we roll because you don't have 1,000 employees to manage and filter down budgets to yet. Doesn't make any sense. So you as the owner and the person who's in charge of making all of the money, you just got to get to work. You be like, right, here I am today on X amount in my business bank account. This is where I am today. This is what I know. These are the things that I do. This is the money that I've made. These are the people that I know. This is the offer I have. Just got to be very, very like transparent with yourself on where we are today. Which is why, Tim, when you said not enough, I was like, I need a number. Because for some people, they could say not enough. And it's like, oh, I made 200K last year. It's not enough. You'd be like, are you out of your tree? So we need the actual number. And then we need to see the gap. What's the gap between the actual number, where we are today, without blame or judgment or like feeling negative about that? That's all in the past. We don't care about that. If you come with your sob stories about why you can't make it work, I will listen to you and I'll say, that's not true. Just so you know. You expect the sympathy. I'm not going to give you any. I'll be like, I don't care. I want to hear your stories about why you can't do it. Why are you paying me money? That's not what you want me to do. I'd be a terrible coach if I did that. So I'm not going to sympathize with you. I will, however, give you the tools to be like, okay, if you want to get to this new one, tell me the things that you're going to do. So, for example, I've been through this process myself about 3 times. I've done this myself. I have set myself a challenge within 30 days and be like, for fun, literally for fun, let's play. Your face is right now. I'm sorry, it's like a picture. I'm like, is it fun though? It sounds horrible. For fun. I was like, how much money can I bring in, usher into my business within a certain time period for fun? How would that look? What would I need to do? Who would I need to speak to? How many offers would I have to make to people I do not know? How many new people would I need to tell about my thing and say, hey, would you like to buy my thing? It's a lot. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of talking to people and saying, hey, did you know I've got this thing? You can buy it today. They're like, what? It's more than we think. So you could just go through your business being like, well, I've been doing this and it's been working fine and I make 2K a month. Or you could say, well, I've been doing this stuff, it's working fine, but it's not making me 20K a month. I wonder what it takes to make 20K in 30 days, to make 25K in a month, to make 100K in a month. I promise you it's not more action. It is not more activity. It's the way you're approaching it. It's the things that you do, not the volume of the things that you do. So if you're thinking this sounds like way more work, there is a little bit more work, but it's not way more tasks. It's not way more activities. It's doing fewer activities, but doing a bunch more of those very streamlined, simple things. Every person that you speak to who might be a potential client, you say, would you like me to help you with that? Why don't we have a call? Instead of the stuff that we're doing that's not making any money, which is like, I don't know, whatever we do in our business that just doesn't make money. Like, I like content, it's great for visibility, doesn't actually create money in your business today. It's a long-term play, or I love long-term play, 100%. You have to have a long-term play, but it's not bringing the money in today. So if I said to you today, each and every one of you, obviously you don't need to go do this, but if you had to make 5,000 US dollars today, tell me the list of things you would go do. If it is a non-negotiable, if it was like, I have to have $5,000 today in my business, or something bad's going to happen that is irreversible, that I need to like fund an operation for somebody that I love, or I need to, I don't know, choose something that's going to motivate you. Like if you had to, if your back was against the wall and you had to come up with $5,000 from your business today, not borrowing, not like asking a neighbor, none of that stuff, what would you actually go and do? It's probably quite different from what you're actually doing in your business normally. If that makes sense. So you'd probably spend less time planning. Actually, you wouldn't do any planning. You'd probably spend 5 minutes writing a list and you'd just start taking action. You'd probably spend less time listening to stuff. You probably wouldn't spend half the day watching Netflix, because then you'd be like, well, I've got to make this 5K. I don't have time to sit and watch 3 Christmas films. I don't know. So any thoughts on this? Like what's coming up as I ask, that was just a lot of questions to kind of get the thoughts coming out. Anything that's come up on your list, if that were the case?
Well, first off, we'll now ask how many Christmas Netflix movies have you watched, Meg? I'll put it that
Today
way.
or over the last week?
Over the last week.
I think 3.
Yeah,
I
three,
think
three
3.
ain't bad. 3 ain't bad. No, you're spot on in terms of bias for action, right? And I know for myself, right, that I'm definitely a little bit fried as we're hitting the midpoint of December. So the ability to act has gotten a little bit tough for me, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So, what I need to do is, to Natasha's point, make that time for myself, get myself back to a certain level of battery. But then once you get yourself back to that level of battery, hit it. So that's very good call out.
Yeah. And I'm not saying to do it now. You choose the dates. So you could choose the dates to be like 1st of January to 30th of January. Yeah. Whatever feels. And the whole thing is like, I'm not going to be measuring you guys on the goal. I'm not going to say, tell me how much you've made and then like give you a lecture. That is the opposite of the point of this exercise. So it's not a race, although, I mean, it's fun. If you want to make it a race, if that motivates you, I don't know. it's not a race and it's not a comparison game. It's oh, this is all the stuff that I actually need to be doing that creates more money consistently in my business. And I haven't been doing these things before. And how did that feel? How was it different? And what emotional stuff came up for me as I took bolder, bigger actions and really faced up to some of these things that I've not been doing. That is the purpose of the exercise. It's not, and it, of course, the purpose is to get the more money. The more money is to make the money. But it will show you the process. It will show you your own process. That makes sense. Of when you're in high money making mindset and action or low money making mindset and action. They go together. You notice this? I can track back over the last year, the times when my money thoughts were really negative. My money and value thoughts were in like a low point, to do with all kinds of stuff, just being human and feeling a bit like, don't want to go out and walk, and feeling a bit miserable and a bit blah, blah. What happens to everyone? We're human. Like, this is just normal. It's part of the experience. But I can track back, because then I stopped networking and I stopped doing the things that I know make money, and I stopped talking about my offers and I stopped selling. So you can literally track it like a graph. So I'm not saying that you remain in a high money making and a high money making action point constantly. That's impossible. For every person, for people making millions and trillions of dollars in their businesses, that's not possible. It's not human to be doing that at that high level. It really isn't. Every single person has these cycles. So it's just about noticing the cycle and being like, oh, this really worked. I'm going to do more of that. That's amazing. Now I feel great and I know it's possible. I keep doing it. Versus, oh, this thing failed. Now I feel crap. And I want to go sit on the sofa and eat all the biscuits and feel sorry for myself for 2 days. Whatever version you guys have of how you experience the troughs and the highs and the lows. So allow yourself the time. Huh?
Just don't touch that cheese. That cheese is mine.
The cheese. Oh no, the cheese happens regardless. The cheese is a constant. So yeah, it's just about noticing what comes up for you and like documenting this, like a science experiment. Feedback on yourself. I took this action, it felt weird. This is what happened. And then come back every week and you share. The more openly you can share, if it's genuinely really tough, please share, because it's more helpful for everybody to hear about what's tough and how you're navigating that than to hear about all your incredible successes. Usually, we want to hear the successes and celebrate them hugely, but don't feel you have to put a positive spin on it, because there is no point for you or for anyone else to put a positive spin on stuff when it feels shit. What's the point? Because you won't learn the stuff. Make sense? Okay, cool. So the only homework I have is you just choose your dates. So choose when your 30-day or 40-day. I mean, this is the thing. If it doesn't happen by 30 days, we just extend the time. No one will know. But 30 days, choose your dates. And then just, you don't have to do anything until we meet again in the new year. Yeah? Okay, let's do it. So any challenges or any specific things that you want to share? Any questions for me, or either on that or any other salesy type things?
The key thing for me is you're putting out the challenge, is writing the question. How can I get? What do I need to do today?
Mm-hmm.
What is the gap between what my expected revenue is and this 20K?
Mhm.
And what have I written down here? For fun, what do I need to do to get there? So just asking a lot of the open-minded questions. And
Yeah.
the first answer, the first thing that came to my head was speak to more people. So then the next question I wrote was, how many is more?
Yeah, how many is more? We don't know. We kind of won't know yet.
No, I'm not looking for the answers. I'm just writing down the questions
Yeah.
in order to get the mind
Yeah,
going.
absolutely.
Okay. All right. For fun, what if 30 days I had 20K in my bank account? What would that mean to me? What do I need to do to get it? So it's a matter of just asking all the open-ended questions, which I love. So that's good.
Good. Another one that I want to add to those questions is, how will I feel when I've done it?
Yeah.
That's an awesome one, because that emotional state, and try to be in that emotional state, try and generate that on purpose with your brain. This is actually the secret. Some people call it law of attraction, manifestation, yada, 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 whatever you want to call it. If you can picture in your mind, in your eyes, mind's eye, mind's eye. That's the
Mind's
one.
mind's eye, yeah.
If you can picture this, the feeling that you'll have, 20,000 US dollars, literally, if it helps you practice like opening up your Stripe, looking on your phone, going to the bank, whatever is the strongest kind of sensation for you that creates the feeling of whatever the feeling is, write that down. Write down the feeling and write down the thing that prompted the feeling. Is it like opening your Stripe and seeing the number? Is it opening your Zoom and seeing all the people in your group or your offer? So play around with whichever one hits you the most, that creates the feelings of, maybe it's achievement, maybe it's pride, maybe it's just like calm. For me, it's calm. Like, I know that when I'm in like a really good place of kind of value creation, value delivery, value coming both ways, I'm super calm, I'm very curious, and I'm kind of chill. Like, I'm not like jumping up and down like a rabbit. I'm just kind of like, oh. Does that make sense? So whatever it is for you, maybe it is excited, maybe it's proud, maybe it's, I don't know.
Tears, would that count?
Yeah. Like happy cry. Just really, really happy. Maybe it's just really, really happy. Yeah. Thank you. That's really helpful. I think that's helped everyone to kind of get clear on the questions to use. Oh, so we have 3 more minutes. Does anyone want to sing a Christmas carol or something?
No.
I was on a
Natasha
networking.
maybe needs to send us off, doesn't she? She's the singer.
Is she a singer? Are you a singer, Natasha?
No, I love singing Christmas carols, but yeah, I can't actually sing.
I was on a networking just before this, and people were singing their elevator pitch in like Christmas carols. It was great. It was very singy. We're not going to do that.
So go on, share yours. That means you had to do it as well. Come on.
Oh
Humor.
no, this was
Come on, guys.
elective. They elected to do it. They weren't told to. They chose. I would never choose to do that. It would not be a choice. Unless I was forced. But what's everyone doing for the rest of this week then?
Working on this homework, because if I don't
Me
do it
too.
now, it ain't going to get done.
Yeah, good point. Nice. Well, I'm going to put the thread in the portal, I'm going to put these questions. So thank you, Tim, for bringing the questions out. I'm going to put them on a sheet, and so you can download them and have them on a PDF to come back to. And like, I think also it'd be useful to do a little exercise sheet. So I'm going to do a few more questions as well. Again, this is all for you. So hold yourself accountable to this. I will hold you accountable to this because I'm going to be asking how much money you've made every week. Just FYI, don't be scared when I ask you. Just please be really transparent. Just be like 0 or $100 or $57. It doesn't matter, because it's going to be how much money is created and then tell me the actions that created it. Okay. Thank you so much. We're going to finish bang on time. Appreciate you all. Have an amazing holiday festive period. Any questions? I am online. So any questions, you can always DM me through the portal. Pete, you haven't joined the portal yet. I keep inviting you and you keep ignoring my emails, just so you know.
Or Meg, I think I also need to be invited. I think I'm still in the other one and it says it's been archived. So
it has been archived.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I'll send
Cool.
you both another email. So look out for the email. It might have just gone to your spam.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'll have a look.
I'll check on that. So
I will
I've not
check
seen
the
it, to be
send.
honest.
No, I didn't think you had, because I will check the send address and I'll tell you to look for the send address so you know what you're looking for.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
brilliant.
Okay. Bye. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Hi, y'all.
See you in the
Happy
new year.
holidays. Merry
Happy
Christmas.
Christmas.
Bye.